Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Today, we're going to be looking at something that's super relevant to, I think, just about anyone who uses, well, the internet these days.
Definitely hot topic.
Subscription services.
Yeah.
But specifically, what happens when they go wrong?
Oh, yeah. The dreaded service interruption.
Exactly. You're in the middle of something important, maybe a movie or, working on a project.
And bam, you're locked out.
Exactly. Super frustrating. So we're going to be diving into SubGuard today.
Brand new feature from ArcBlock Payment Kit.
That's right. And it promises to make these service interruptions a thing of the past.
Big claim.
Mm-hmm.
But the tech behind it is really interesting.
Yeah, I was looking into it. It uses blockchain technology.
Yeah, in a really unique way, though.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. How so?
Well, it's all about staking.
Staking, like tokens.
Exactly. You stake a certain amount of ArcBlock tokens.
Okay.
Think of it like an insurance policy for your subscriptions.
Interesting. So if my payment fails, my staked tokens kick in.
Exactly. They cover the costs so you don't experience any interruption.
Or I can finally say goodbye to those "your payment failed" messages.
You got it. Well, you'll still get notified.
Right, of course. So I can fix the issue.
Yeah, it just gives you some breathing room,
I like that a lot, actually. But doesn't staking involve some risk?
So with SubGuard, you're really only staking enough to cover maybe 1 or 2 billing cycles.
Got it.
So the potential for, big price swings is quite low.
So it's calculated risk, I guess.
Exactly. And compared to the hassle of a service interruption.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Especially for something like a work app or, a service you rely on heavily.
Okay, I'm sold. How do I actually enable SubGuard?
It's really simple. You go to your subscription details page in the ArcBlock Payment Kit.
Okay.
And you'll see a section for SubGuard. You decide how much you want to stake.
And you mentioned something called a protection period?
Oh, yeah. That's just how long you want that SubGuard protection to be active.
So like if I'm going on vacation and I know I might miss a payment notification.
Precisely, you can set a longer protection period just in case.
Smart. Okay, so this all sounds pretty amazing, but there's got to be a catch, right?
Honestly, no, not really. One of the best things about SubGuard is how user-friendly it is.
Okay.
Super easy to set up. You can adjust your stake or the protection period anytime, and if you decide you don't need it anymore, you just disable it and you get your tokens back.
No strings attached.
Nope. Totally flexible.
I gotta say, this is way more appealing than I initially thought.
Yeah, it's a really elegant solution to a problem that a lot of people face.
And the fact that it's all powered by blockchain, adds that extra layer of security and transparency.
Absolutely. It's about giving users control over their subscriptions in a way that we haven't seen before.
Now, you mentioned user control, and this reminds me of another feature we wanted to discuss today, the delegation check.
Oh, yeah, that's another important piece of the puzzle.
Can we talk about delegation first?
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean in this context?
Sure. So delegation is essentially what allows your subscriptions to be billed automatically.
Okay.
It's like giving your streaming service permission to charge your card each month.
Got it. So the delegation check is making sure that authorization is always working.
Precisely. It safeguards against any hiccups in that authorization process.
Okay, but why would there be a hiccup?
Well, let's say you've been using one payment app and you decide to switch to a different one.
Sure, happens all the time.
Right. Well, during that switch, the delegation might get revoked.
So my old payment app isn't authorized anymore.
Exactly, and that can cause disruptions because your new app doesn't have the authorization yet.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the delegation check catches this before it becomes a problem.
Exactly. Alerts you and guides you through redelegating to your new payment app.
So it's like a preventative measure.
Exactly. It's all about keeping things running smoothly in the background.
So we've got SubGuard preventing disruptions from payment failures and the delegation check taking care of authorization issues.
It's a powerful combination.
It really is. So you're telling me I can finally stop stressing about my subscriptions?
Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But seriously, though, these features are designed to give users that peace of mind.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going.
Right.
Now, I'm curious to explore some real-life examples of how all of this works in practice.
Let's do it.
Let's say you're a freelancer, completely dependent on your online tools for work.
Oh, yeah, I know that wife well.
How would SubGuard change the game for someone like that?
Well, imagine this. You're a graphic designer,
Right.
got a hot new client, a tight deadline.
The pressure is on.
You're in the zone, everything's flowing smoothly, project management software, your cloud storage.
I can feel the creative energy already.
Right. But then you go to access your design software,
Oh.
and bam, you're locked out. payment failed.
Oh, no. Talk about a nightmare scenario.
Right. You're suddenly scrambling to update your payment info. The deadline is looming. Stress levels are through the roof.
Not to mention the potential damage to your reputation if you can't deliver on time.
Exactly. But here's where SubGuard swoops in to save the day.
Okay, tell me more.
With SubGuard enabled, that temporary payment hiccup wouldn't have caused any interruption.
So our graphic designer could have just kept working.
Exactly. No lost time, no stress, no damage to their reputation.
Wow, that's a game changer for sure. But what about those everyday annoyances? You know, the smaller things that can still throw you off.
Like your music cutting out mid-workout.
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Super frustrating.
Oh, right. But with SubGuard, that wouldn't happen. Your music keeps playing, you stay in the zone, and you can deal with the payment later.
Okay, so it's not just about preventing major disasters, but also smoothing out those little bumps in the road.
Exactly. It's about making our digital lives more seamless and enjoyable.
I like it. So we've covered SubGuard and how it handles those payment-related interruptions. But what about the delegation check? Can you give me an example of when that would come in handy?
Sure. Let's say you've been using a specific payment app to manage all your subscriptions for years.
Yeah.
It's worked fine, but you find a new app with better features.
So you decide to switch.
Exactly. But in that process, the delegation that allowed your old app to handle payments might get revoked.
So there's a gap in authorization.
Precisely. And that could lead to more disruptions.
Even though I'm trying to improve my payment setup.
It's a risk, but that's where the delegation check comes in.
So it's looking out for me even when I'm making changes.
Exactly. It monitors for any delegation issues, and if it finds one, it'll alert you and guide you through redelegating to your new app.
So basically, it's got my back no matter what.
Pretty much. It's like having a dedicated assistant making sure all the behind-the-scenes stuff is taken care of.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the value in all of this. It's like a whole new level of security and peace of mind for our subscriptions.
It's about time, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
But I want to go beyond just the immediate benefits here and think about the bigger picture. What does all of this tell us about the future of subscriptions? How is blockchain technology going to continue to shape this space?
That's a great question, and one that I think deserves a deeper dive.
Okay, you've got my attention. I'm ready to go down the rabbit hole.
Let's do it. So we're talking about the future of subscriptions, and I think what we're seeing with SubGuard is just the beginning.
Okay, I'm listening. What's so groundbreaking about it?
It's about blockchain technology moving beyond, just cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it feels like we're finally getting past that whole blockchain is just for Bitcoin thing.
Exactly. SubGuard shows how blockchain can be used to solve real-world problems.
Practical problems that everyone faces.
Right, like those annoying subscription interruptions we were talking about.
And it does it in a way that's secure, transparent, and most importantly, user-friendly.
Exactly. It's like blockchain is becoming this invisible backbone.
Making our digital lives a little less chaotic.
I like that a lot. And I think as more companies realize this potential, we're going to see more and more services adopting blockchain-based solutions.
So as subscriptions become even more integrated into our lives, everything from entertainment to work to essential services.
Right.
How do you think solutions like SubGuard are going to reshape our expectations? Will we start demanding this level of reliability as the norm?
I think it's inevitable, honestly, once people experience that peace of mind.
Knowing their services are always going to be there.
Exactly. They're not going to want to go back to the old way of doing things.
So service interruptions will become less acceptable.
I think so. The companies that prioritize this seamless experience...
Using tools like SubGuard.
Exactly. They're the ones who are going to come out on top.
It's like setting a new standard for the whole industry.
Right. It's not just about meeting expectations either. It's about building trust.
Trust between the company and the user.
Exactly. When users feel confident that their services are reliable, it strengthens that relationship.
It's like knowing you have a safety net. It takes away that anxiety and lets you focus on what matters.
Absolutely. And that peace of mind is so valuable these days.
I agree. So overall, are you feeling optimistic about the future of subscriptions?
Definitely. It's exciting to see how blockchain, once seen as this complex technology, is now being used to make our lives easier and more enjoyable.
It's like a quiet revolution happening behind the scenes.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as we become even more reliant on digital services, it's good to know that these innovations are out there, making our experiences more reliable, more secure, and ultimately more human.
Well said. So to wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. As consumers, we have more power than ever to demand better experiences.
That's right.
And as technology keeps evolving, We can expect even more innovative solutions that prioritize our needs and make our digital lives better. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep demanding more.
And if you're curious about SubGuard, head over to your ArcBlock Payment Kit and check it out.
You might be surprised at how much peace of mind it can bring.
It's a game changer for sure.
Until next time, keep diving deeper.
So you're right, it is a quiet revolution, and it begs the question, where does it go from here?
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. What's the next step in this evolution of subscriptions?
Well, I think we're going to see blockchain technology become even more integrated into the fabric of these services.
Okay.
In what way? For example, imagine a future where your subscription preferences and payment history are all securely stored on a blockchain.
So it's like a decentralized profile of my subscription activity.
Exactly. And you control access to that data.
Interesting. So I could easily switch between providers without having to start from scratch each time.
Right. You could port your preferences, your history, even your loyalty rewards.
Wow, that would be a game changer. No more starting from zero every time you try a new service.
Exactly. It puts the power back in the hands of the user.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But what about security? Would all this data being on a blockchain make it more vulnerable to hacking?
Actually, it's the opposite. Blockchain is inherently more secure than traditional databases. Yeah, because the data is distributed across multiple nodes, it's much harder for hackers to compromise.
So it's like having multiple layers of protection.
Exactly. It's like a digital fortress for your subscription information.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about the whole thing. So we've got increased portability, enhanced security, and of course all those benefits we talked about earlier, like preventing service interruptions.
It's a pretty compelling vision for the future of subscriptions.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
like taking all the best aspects of blockchain technology and applying them to something that everyone uses and interacts with on a daily basis.
And it's all about empowering the user, giving them more control, more flexibility, and more peace of mind.
I'm definitely on board with that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's this. The future of subscriptions is about more than just convenience. It's about building a more trustworthy and user-centric experience.
And blockchain technology is playing a key role in making that happen.
Absolutely. So keep an eye out for these innovations because they're only going to become more prevalent in the years to come.
Well said. And for our listeners out there, if you're curious to experience the future of subscriptions firsthand,
Yeah.
head over to the ArcBlock Payment Kit and check out SubGuard.
It's a glimpse into what's possible when we start thinking differently about how these services should work.
And until next time, keep diving deeper.